Hello again, this is Randy. Welcome back to the shop today. Today we're going to be starting on the piston for the Galloway hit and miss engine. This is the aluminum casting that they gave me. It's got this spigot on it here, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn this and use this to chuck on to do the OD. And inside here I got to machine this back to a certain dimension, and then I got to machine this boss right here for the width of the connecting rod and put in the wrist pin hole. And I got to put 2 ring grooves in it and 2 oil grooves. This here is an 1/8 inch piece of high-speed steel, and I ground it up for cutting the rings, the ring lands. So for right now, let's get this chucked up in the lathe and get this spigot on the end here turned, and we'll turn the OD to size. I gotta do the spigot first. Check it again here. That looks better. All right. Didn't quite clean up yet all the way. needs a little more. I think I'm going to throw a high-speed steel tool in there, give that a try, because that finish on there is absolutely horrendous. All right, I got this turned around here. The OD of this needs to be 1" 7/48. It's about 2" 50 now, so I got a ways to go. All right, I made a few cuts on this, and the finish was absolutely terrible. Tried changing the nose. Excuse me. Tried changing the nose radius on my tool. Tried WD-40, and it was just bad. So what I ended up doing is I put a shear tool in one of my tool holders that I made, and that there is pretty good. But you can see what it looks like now. And I'll make a cut with a high-speed steel tool, and you'll see the difference. Same RPM, same feed. Same depth of cut. Put some more WD-40 on here. you can visibly see the difference in it. You can feel the difference. I never seen anything like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this turned down probably within 15 thousandths of final size, and I'm just going to finish it off with the shear tool. Alright, we're at 1 inch 757. I put the shear tool back in. $754, so it didn't take quite 2 thousandths. Yeah, that's all right. I'd rather undercut it than overcut it. This should be our last pass. Yeah, we're about a thou under it, or a thousandth oversize still. It's saying it's 749. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some emery and I'm going to polish it. I gave this a little bit of a polish, so let's check it and see. Looks like 748 and maybe a couple tenths. Now I'm calling it good. So it's got a pretty decent finish on it now. That shear tool sure took care of that job. Okay, I got this blued up here, and I'm gonna take a pass on the bottom of it here, clean up the bottom, and then we're gonna mark out where everything's got to be. All right. Okay, 2 inches, 225 thousandths is going to be the top of our piston. So right there. That's going to be the top of the piston, and $156 thousandths down from here is going to be the start of our top ringland. Okay, 156 thousandths down from that is going to be where the top of our top ringland is. Right there. The ringland is going to be that represents our top ring line right there. And we got to go 219 to go from there. Which is 175. Okay. And the next mark we're going to put on here is 1 inch 650. I think it is 625. That's where our second ring is going to be. Okay, this next line is going to be where the center line of the wrist pin is. Right there. That's going to be the center line of the wrist pin, and there's an oil groove there, and right in the center of that there's going to be an oil groove, and below the second ring there's also going to be an oil groove. Alright, now this inside of the piston right down here gets bored a 1/2 inch deep out to 1 inch 5/62. I want to just get a rough measurement here on this so I can see approximately how far we got to go. Got just about 250 thousandths to go. Okay. Okay. Well, let's get a measurement on this thing here once. See where exactly we are. One inch 548 is where it is. And we got to go to 1 inch 562. Should be it right there. Camera a little bit here so you can see. And we'll blow this off and I'm going to check it. Looks like I'm a half a thou over. Let me remeasure it once here a minute. Not that it really matters, but this is just for connecting rod clearance. Yeah, I'm about a half a thousandth over. Okay. Now this has got to have a bevel put in it. This bevel that I got to put on the back of the piston here on the bottom of it They don't say any degree, they just say how wide it has to be. So I'm kind of guessing here. I'm going to take a couple cuts on it and see what it looks like. Got my compound set for 10 degrees. And we'll see what happens. Turn the light on so I can see. Figured out where I laid it right here. I gotta move this a little more here. Looks like I'm at about 163, something like that. Okay. Measure it again here. Let's see. Looks like it's about 187. So I'll leave that well enough alone. Okay. All right, we're going to turn these oil grooves here. I'm going to come in till it just touches. Right here. And they got to be 31 thousandths deep. All right, we're continuing on here. I was thinking wrong. I got to plunge in 82 thousandths. There's 50. Because I was done and the groove just didn't look right. Now we'll do the top ring. Just touched. this down in here needs to get opened up for the connecting rod to fit, and I gotta bore through where this groove is for the wrist pin. And then there's a couple of 1032 screws that I gotta mount right here. Okay, they're calling this, for this gap in this, for the connecting rod to be 600 thousandths wide. I got a 3/8 cutter, so I've got to offset 113 thousandths each direction. Yeah, looks like that's down far enough. Okay. Come over. 25 thousandths. All right, this is the last cut right here. Okay. Okay, so I'm just getting this tapped all the way here. I think that's it. All right. Now what I got to do is clean off the mill table a little bit. And to drill the wrist pin hole, I'm going to turn the rotary table 90 degrees and realign the rotary table, recenter the piston for drilling and reaming the wrist pin bore. I had to move over 1 inch 343, and it looks like it's spot on to me. So that's where we're going to put our hole for the wrist pin. Okay, I'm going to take this drill out and go to the next biggest size. Hopefully it's 5/16. Yep. Stick this in back gear and grab some lube here. All right. Okay. The screws are drilled in it for the locking screws that I still have to make. They're a 1024 with a square head, and I got to make the little lock nuts for them. And here's the wrist pin. It's got two flats here that the screws are going to sit on, and I machined a flat in here according to the blueprint for wrist pin oiling. and they don't really say which direction this has to go, but I would assume it goes into the bottom. So it's gonna go in the piston like that there. This little flat will be on the bottom here, and that will allow the oil that runs down into the wrist pin hole to run along the bottom of the wrist pin itself. So let's get this kind of assembled here. This is going to go in there like that there. So we'll take the piston here, make sure you can see what I'm doing. There we go. This wrist pin is going to fit in here like this, just like that, and the connecting rod is going to go in like this. Gotta pull this out a little bit here. There we go. Okay. It's gonna go in like that. There. The wrist pin is going to slide in. Them two screws are going to lock that in place. Let's grab the engine frame here a second. And we'll slide this up in there. It's going to go in there like that. Other part of the cap that goes on here. So, hammer go. Tap this up in place. Go. Little nuts here. Like that. Well, that's going to bring a close to this video here. So the piston is made, the wrist pin is done. I got to do the two little bolts that are gonna retain the wrist pin and the piston, and I need to make the rings. I gotta make a fixture for heat and treating the rings. So I'll probably work on that next and get the rings done, get these two little bolts here done, and then that part of it will be done. And then I think the next thing I'm going to work on is possibly the cylinder head. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. But this aluminum here that the piston is made out of, I don't know what that stuff is, but it is gummy. It's almost impossible to get a good surface finish with it. I was just lucky enough. I thought, well, I'll try the shear tool, and the shear tool did pretty good. It's pretty good, but without that, the surface finish was just terrible. And even when I was milling inside the piston for the connecting rod, spraying WD-40 on it helped, but the only way I could get a decent finish on the sides of those bosses was to take like a half a thou cut and do it climb milling. That was the only way I could get a halfway decent surface finish on it. Not that it really matters, but it is what it is. But so that's going to be it for this one. So I hope everybody's having a great day, and be sure to check back for when I'm making the piston rings. I got to make the fixture first, then I got to cut the rings and split them, and put the rings in that little fixture and heat treat them, and then I want to put them on the piston in the cylinder and see if I can tell exactly how round they are. So anyway, I hope everybody's having a great day, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.